Director Colin, been nervous all day. It's not because we had technical issues. It's because Tennessee's going on the road at Pitt, and they're a touchdown favorite. 3:30 kickoff, ABC, all times Eastern. I would like to offer, before we even start the breakdown, my eternal praise to teams like Tennessee and teams like Pitt. Last week, team like Utah, going on the road in out-of-conference play. This is not one of those ugly neutral site games that no one likes, no one cares about unless you're a corporate sponsor. This is what college football should look like. Whether it's a conference game or not, it should be in a home venue. Here goes Tennessee on the road. Tennessee and Pitt both have preseason over-under win totals of 8.5. They are both 1-0. Tennessee had a little easier time of it than Pitt in week 1, but they're both 1-0. How do you label this game? It's not a must-win game, but it feels really, really important, especially to be an out-of-conference game. I think the most important player in this one is actually a Pitt player. I think it's Kedon Slovis. Slovis had a pretty good game in week 1. It was a mixed bag, though. They played West Virginia. That's a game that I think a lot of you watched. He went for over 300 through the air. It's a really good number in a debut performance for Kedon Slovis. But they started really slow. I really fear if that happens again against Tennessee, Tennessee can start very fast on you. And I don't feel like seeing West Virginia in a 14 or 17-0 hole because at that point, no one wants to be in a 17-0 hole, okay? No one's favorable in a 17-0 hole. But I fully expect, because of them trying to prevent that and trying to prevent a duplicate of what happened last week early on, I think they're going to take some shot plays. Everyone thinks about Pate and Arduzzi. Nah, they'll just play it underneath. They'll try and pound away if they can. Not a great running effort last week, but they'll try and pound away if they can, and they'll just hit balls underneath and they'll sustain drives. I think they're going to take some shots early. I think they understand how much they need to loosen Tennessee defensively, which they were never really able to do last week against West Virginia. And for that reason, keep your eye on that yards per carry stat. First quarter, first half, keep your eye on it for both teams because Pitt last week, 39 carries for 76 yards against West Virginia. That's 1.9 yards per carry. And if there's one facet defensively Tennessee feels good about coming into this game, it's run defense. They feel like they match up very well there. They're solid, and I think if they start to do that, and it's just standard Pitt run on early downs, and let's get to 2nd and 5, let's get to 3rd and 3, and then we'll pull whatever we want to out of our bag. If it's that, great. If it's not that, and if it's a critical amount of 3rd and 7 or longer, and you're putting Kedon Slovis in consistent positions to have to bail you out, it's not a recipe for success here. I think that's a recipe for being -2 turnover or better. So if I'm Tennessee, it goes one of two ways. It either goes the way where Tennessee commits a lot of mistakes that are forced by Pitt, and we feel like we give the game away and we lose, or Pitt just flat out outscores us. Those are the two paths for us losing this game. And I don't believe, if I'm a Tennessee fan, that number 2 is happening. Just on its own, I don't believe Pitt's outscoring me. So if we're dropping this game, we contributed to it. Now, that's how I'd feel if I was a Tennessee fan. Let's take a look at what the model thinks about this thing. And this is with bated breath that Director Colin punches that button in there. Director Colin, you cut him open, he bleeds orange and white, mainly orange. The model is a little bit north of the line here. The line is Tennessee -6.5. The model has Tennessee -7. Now, I got to remind you before I give you my pick here, the market reacted to this game as if Pitt lost in week 1. Because the numbers that were out there 2 weeks ago on the futures market were more along the lines of Tennessee -4, 3.5, 4, 4.5, and now it's all the way up to a touchdown. And it sounds like Pitt lost in week 1, right? That's how the market would have reacted had Pitt lost. Pitt won. See, that's the thing about odds making. Like I told you, you saw that West Virginia game, and you saw West Virginia throw a pick right through that receiver's hands, pick 6, Pitt wins, and that's great for them in week 1. The odds-making community looks and says, but that's not duplicable. Like that is not something that is part of that team that we think is likely percentage-wise to carry over. That's just something that happened. That's a bounce of ball type thing. And therefore, you see the reaction, and you see how the market reacted. So Tennessee -7 is what our model says. The line is Tennessee -6.5. I think to myself about how critical balance will be for for Pitt in this game offensively. I just don't think they're going to achieve it. And I think unlike last year, they will not be able to trade points enough with Tennessee. And I think this is a good barometer, really good measuring stick for both programs. I think it's going to be a very competitive game, but the fourth quarter I think is going to belong to Tennessee. I'm taking Tennessee to win, and at that 6.5 number, I'll follow the model. I'll take Tennessee to cover. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Make sure you like the video, and please subscribe to the channel. Not just for me, that's how we keep this entire thing free.